So many lovely faces so early in the morning on Monday. My name is Mikey. I'm the organizer who lives here, which is, I guess, why you all ended up here. So thank you so much for coming. This is the biggest European conference we've had so far. This is the 5th European conference we have, the 4th one in Prague, the 3rd one at this venue. And the first one that is completely and totally sold out way early. So we have about 260 people here from all over the world, all over the map of roles and cultures. And so it's a very, very exciting thing. So I'm going to run you through some housekeeping. Come on. All right. So I'm going to just, for those of you who are new here, who's here for the first time? All right. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, welcome. I'm just going to run you through some housekeeping to see, to show you how things work around here. So the talks are usually 30 minutes. They will be in this room. We don't do on-stage questions because we find that it's more productive and friendly to the presenters if you can come up to them and speak to them afterwards. So between every single talk, we are going to have a break, with or without snacks or lunch. That's in the schedules that you have on the website and also printed. So if you want to ask questions, the talks will run the full 30 minutes, and then you can come up and talk to people afterwards. So we encourage personal interactions, group interactions. So if you noticed, we have a triangle. This is our triangle of terror, and we're going to use it to announce when you need to get back in here, when things are happening, if you have an announcement that everybody needs to hear. We got toilets up here. We got an accessible toilet downstairs. There's a free cloakroom. It's operated and guarded at all times, so if you got luggage, valuables, things like that, you can leave it here during the conference, and in the evening they will lock it down or close it, so you'll have to get your stuff out of there. The Wi-Fi on the booklet that you have is half correct, so the network name is Write the Docs, and you don't need to put in a password right away, but then you get into a portal, and there are signs around the venue that are posted with the login information. Okay, we have a quiet room downstairs across from the cloakroom. Quiet room means no phones, no conversations. If you want to have a meeting, a conference call, or whatever, please do not do that there. Please respect people's quiet space. We also have a speaker room up here and a staff room. Everything should be clearly signposted. If you noticed, we opened one of the big glass doors, and this will stay open until probably about lunchtime, and then people will naturally gravitate. We have the Unconference going on. We have a lot of stuff going on. And if you want the restaurant downstairs, where we serve breakfast and lunch, so we will have 2 lunch stations and breakfast, that restaurant space is open all day anyway, for us as well. So if you want to just do some work done, get some work done, or have conversations, you can go down there, because the room across from us will be for the Unconference. So we will have marked tables, and you'll hear about this in a bit. And we have smoking is outside, away from the doors. The ashtrays should be your sign posting for where you can smoke. And please respect people's space. And okay, what else we have? So this, hey, wait. So this venue, I don't know if you noticed, but it's a pretty sweet looking venue, and it's called the Auto Club, and it's actually was established as, there is a company or an association called Auto Club Czech Republic, and it was a motorist club. It was a motorcycle club and racing cars and everything, and they've established in 1903, and this building was basically bought by them and reconstructed and opened pretty much as you see it today in 1929. And it's a historical building, it's got protected status, and it's very well taken care of. And it is also an active ballroom. So I dance, we have dance festivals here, I've had concerts here with my band. So if you imagine this place without any chairs and with musicians up here and people dancing, so this happens. This is how we ended up here. And so I like that. It's kind of like in Portland, we have the Crystal Ballroom. So I like these venues that have a history, they have their own personality. So I hope you enjoy it as much as we do if you're new here. So, and are you gonna behave? Okay. So what are we doing here? Why are we here? What is Write the Docs? What is this event? We are basically a community conference. A community puts the community first. We are people who work in different roles, different industry, different countries, but we're all here to network and meet each other and discuss and learn things, you know, and share our experience about content, about communication. Over the years, you see the social interactions and the professional conversations that you have with the people, so this is quite a priority for us. This is, as I said, the fifth conference that we're doing in Europe. The year before that was the first conference in Portland. And this is a sentence that Eric Holscher likes to say. We still have no idea what we're doing. I'm not sure. I keep this in the introduction slides because it forces us to really look at what do we want to be when we grow up? We don't really know. But, you know, whatever it is, the journey should be interesting and fun along the way. So we're always evolving as a community and as an organization. I mean, the organization is the community. And we try to be sustainable, we try to be inclusive, and we try to encourage people to learn and expand their knowledge and their connections. And your job here is to make friends, learn something, and have fun, okay? So we are actually, this is something I really love to talk about, and we see it working because, especially if you're new, you know, you're not quite sure how to navigate the event, the community, you know, how do I interact with people? So we are here to tell you that this is what you can do, and this is something that we support and we encourage, and we want you to meet new people, we want you to learn about someone else's job or what they're passionate about. We have talks here, we have an Unconference in the back where you can do group discussions, we have social events, you know, there's a lot of ways that we can communicate, and I mean, we are a community of communicators, you know, in whatever way that manifests itself, right? And have fun, because we are a very warm and welcoming community. I've been, the first European conference I attended was in 2014, and I really did find my home here, you know, and this is my family. So, you know, this is how we want the newcomers. We want to welcome you, and so that you feel at home here. Wait, no. So how do we actually achieve this? So we are, if you've been here, if it's not your first event, you already kind of have some experience with that. But we want to be welcoming. We want to be open to new people, to new ideas, to different ideas. You know, we are supportive. You know, it doesn't matter if you're here for the first time or the 5th time. You know, we are supportive to whatever it is that you care about, that you want to, let's say, accomplish in your life, or something that you're passionate about. And we're very positive. I think this is probably the happiest group of people that I can have a conference with. And it's something that's really, I mean, I don't take this for granted, and I'm sure that the people who come here, you know, year after year is what a lot of us keep coming back for. So now that I will get to this place. So over the years, Eric's come up with some interesting experiments, how we can actually put a bit of a framework around, you know, we can tell you just go and be nice to people, you know, but that's kind of vague. So the first experiment, which was like 2 years ago, started implementing that, or started encouraging people to do that, which I really love, is called the Pac-Man rule. And the Pac-Man rule basically means if you're standing in a group of maybe 3 or 4 people, leave some space for someone to join. If you're sitting at a table, you know, and there's an extra seat, you can go and ask, can I join you? You know, this is absolutely a part of how we operate in this community. So we want to, especially if you've been coming here for a few years, you get to see the same people, but there are so many new people. You know how many people raised their hands? You know, so to give you a little bit of a, you know, a bit of a framework to be able to say, oh, you know, I can join this new group, you know. It's not going to be weird or awkward, hopefully, you know. But this is our job, to welcome new people into the groups, you know. So it works as for the community as a whole, and also for the smaller groups. And then last year we started another experiment, which basically says, for every year you've attended, we encourage you to meet one new person each day. So if this is your first year here, then your job is to meet one new person each day, and you may have already done that. you know, depending on when you started joining our activities. But if you're here for the 5th time, then we encourage you to meet 5 new people every day. We encourage you. It's not mandatory. There won't be a test. We're not going to make you give us a list, you know. But this is a nice way of also breaking up kind of long-term cliques and being able to remind the long-timers to be, you know, more open, and we want to use that as a chance to interact with different people and new people. So, all right, so for the next part, I would like to bring up on the stage Sasha Romain, who's on the organizing team. She's our volunteer coordinator, and she's going to talk a bit about our code of conduct.
So at this conference we have a code of conduct. You have all seen and agreed to it, because otherwise you cannot register a ticket. And so the code of conduct for us is basically a tool to make the conference feel safe and inclusive to everyone. So we take reports very seriously. It's a very important thing to us. And basically, like, our options, like when we receive a report, they range from asking someone to stop certain behavior. It's one of the more common ones. But also, if necessary, remove someone from the conference, cancel a talk, things like that are also options. When we look at reports, intent isn't magic, but it can make a difference depending on the situation. So it's not a tool of, like, we're not necessarily harsh people, but we will also not hesitate to act harshly if that is necessary. There's a standard process of how we respond to code of conduct incidents, so it's actually on the website. We keep your name confidential if you report something. Next slide, I think. Yes. So the code of conduct applies to all conference spaces in the widest sense, so it also applies to, for example, the social events tonight. So be mindful of how much you drink. You're still responsible for your own behavior. Do not push anyone else to drink or to drink more. If you feel there's any issue, if you think something happened or you saw something or it happened to you that you think may be a violation of the code of conduct, you can talk to anyone with the gold lanyards. We also have our code of conduct team is me, Mikey, and Eric over there. And so you can talk to, for me, Mikey, and Eric, our contact details are also on the website. There are our phone numbers, there are email addresses. And if you're not sure if something is a violation, but just something like just feels the wrong way, it feels a little off, it makes you feel uncomfortable, then we encourage you to always talk to us, because we don't think badly of people who report things to us that we then find are not violations. It helps us make the conference better. It's not a burden to us if you report something, because you give us a chance to improve something that doesn't sit right. So our contacts are on the website. Find anyone with a gold lanyard if you have any issues. Thank you.
Thank you. So what's on the menu? What have we had so far? What's in the schedule for the rest of the conference? Because some of us have been going since Saturday. So on Saturday we had a boat ride. Raise your hand if you're on the boat. All right, yeah, we had about 60-something people on a boat. There are lovely pictures by our photographer, Kay, already circulating around. And so that was on Saturday. And yesterday we had the writing day, which was based on a sprint model. And raise your hand if you were in the writing day. Yeah, so we had about 120 of you yesterday. So that's quite the turnout, and we hope you learned something. And I've been following the Twitter feed, and it seems like people got some work done and had some fun, which is a really nice combination. The reception was also yesterday. We found that it's useful to let people pick up their badges early and meet some people before we start everything on Monday morning. This is the main stage. This is the room where the talks are going to be. We have 15 delightful speakers talking about a very wide range of topics. And we had the submissions this year, we had more than 70, so it was very hard for the talk selection panel. And this year, for the first time, we have live streaming. So if my mom's watching in Israel, hey mom. and live captioning right here, as you can see. So we've did this for the first time in Portland, and it was really, really useful, so we hope that it's useful for you. And we're going to have all the talks are going to be recorded, and the transcripts are going to be attached to them, and they're all going to be published on YouTube. We have our media sponsor here to record. John is sitting up there. Thank you. So that's what's happening on the main stage. You have a printed schedule, which is mostly correct. I think as far as the presentations are concerned, then yes. I mean, the Wi-Fi password might be different, but you know what's coming up. And we also have lightning talks. Do you want to talk about the lightning talks, or I can say? Yeah, oh, so I will bring the lightning talks coordinator, Nick, to talk about the lightning talks.
Good morning. So we have 2 chalices for lightning talks. Put your name in the chalice and put it either in the veteran speaker, if you've done a lightning talk before, or the first-time speaker, if you have not. We'll do a mix of both of them.
So this is how the lightning talks work, okay? And the baskets will be available every morning at the near the registration desk. The lightning talks are every day after lunch. It's 5-minute talks where you can talk about anything you want, and anything that you're passionate about or that you want to share. Slides are optional. There are some restrictions on your time limit if you want to set up your laptop, because we got to get things going. That's why it's a lightning talk, so everything goes quite fast. And if you have any questions about specific things, or if you're not sure whether your topic can go for a lightning talk, just ask one of us. And we have it today and tomorrow. And that's that for the lightning talks. So the Unconference will be held in that room. And some of you might have noticed there are numbered tables there. We have a board with a sign up. We're going to have an organizer there and a volunteer to help you orientate yourself. And Unconference is basically a concept of open space. I want to have a roundtable discussion. I want to teach some people some stuff. I want to, philosophize about the future of dock tools with this specific industry. It's more for focused discussions in smaller groups. And we encourage you to take notes, and we can share them around as well. So we got a lot of different skills here, a lot of different backgrounds, and it's really cool to see people from different experience areas or industries share their knowledge and learn something new. So you can sign up on the board in that room throughout the whole day, and you can check it what's happening. So I will say again that room should be prioritized for Unconference. We got a lot of people here, so we love all of you, but we don't want anybody to kind of be crowded. So that's why, again, I will say, if you want to have casual conversations or get some work done or whatever, we encourage you to go downstairs to the restaurant space. If you're sitting in the Unconference, if there's space, you can, of course, sit there. But we want to prioritize the actual group sessions. What's this? Huh? The Unconference Explained. Yes, we will have handouts there in the room with helpful tips, because some of you might not be familiar with the concept of the Unconference. So a few just kind of highlights is these are free choice sessions. If you are not feeling the session, you feel free to get up and leave and switch sessions. You can join a session in the middle. And if you want to talk about something, don't wait for somebody else to suggest it. I mean, it's not a presentation on a stage with an audience. It's more interactive. So you can feel comfortable just proposing an idea and sitting at the table and see who wants to join. And the moderators should moderate. So we encourage people to select a moderator for each session. Someone maybe to keep notes, keep time, keep the conversation focused, So that's just one way to help focus the discussion, basically. Okay. So tomorrow morning we're going to have a job fair, and this is also something new this year. We've realized that a lot of documentarians are looking for jobs, and we have some companies who want to hire people of that mindset. And so some of our sponsors are going to be in the Unconference room in the morning. They will have tables. We also encourage you to focus your job-related discussions. So if you want to, let's say, have a impromptu Unconference session about hiring practices or anything that has to do with the job field, job-seeking practices and things like that. We encourage you to save it for tomorrow morning, because that's going to be our job-flavored unconference space with some select tables. And that's tomorrow morning, and then in the afternoon, so it's going to run from like 10 to 12, 10 to 12, couple hours, and then we're going to resume the unconference. So that's going to be tomorrow. So tonight, social event. The social event will be at a place called the Hoffa Bar. It's right around the corner. You have the address in your booklets on the website. And we will also tweet and Slack the information again, and I'm sure I will still get people asking where it is. That's okay, it's okay. And it starts at 8, so you should be able to have time to, we finish here at 6:30, so you should have time to get some dinner, drop off your laptop. We will provide drinks and very light snacks while our tab lasts. And please, well, I'm saying here wristbands, but we actually decided, please bring your badge. Okay, your badge. This is a private event just for us, and we will have volunteers at the door. And if you show them your badge, you will get a wristband. And from that moment on, anybody who's with a wristband is allowed into the bar. So that's how that's going to work. And remember, the code of conduct applies everywhere. And please, please bar responsibly. All right, the welcome wagon, please stand up. Beth, Daniel. All right, so you may have seen them around the website, around the Slack sphere. These are Beth and Daniel. They are our welcome wagon folks. Yesterday, if you were here, we had a tour, we had a meet and greet. So anybody who is new or wants to know more information can come and ask them questions about how the conference works, how the community works, where everything is. We also have a welcome wagon guide on the website with a lot of tips. You know, I don't know, what should I wear for the party, and all sorts of things like that. But also things like, you know, what do I do in case of, you know, your question here. So how do I manage something? And they are very friendly people and very welcoming, which is why they are our welcome wagon. So, and if you want to ask a question on the Slack, on the WTD Conferences channel, they will be available. We're all monitoring this for people's questions, but a welcome wagon question will probably be picked up by one of those two lovely people. So thank you very much. All right, now this is the serious part, okay? The badge flare contest has started in 2015? First time we did this conference in Prague in a different venue. It was very unofficial, very kind of underground, and now it's documented on our website, which means we are formally accepted it into the Write the Docs tradition. There are flare stations near the registration desk. You can put a mustache on your badge. You can decorate it in however way you want, and then you tweet it with the hashtag Write the Docs and WTD badge before lunch on Tuesday. So before lunch tomorrow, okay? And you can win a secret prize, and we will announce the winner and possible runner-ups or honorable mentions before the lightning talks tomorrow. And you need to be in the room, so if you submit it and you want to find out if you've won, then you do that. And we have some information on the website, but generally we encourage you to use the materials that are here. You know, we've had cases where people have done an amazing job on their badges, but they used things that are not, materials that are not accessible to everyone. So that's an honorable mention, but unfortunately we cannot pick a winner from that. Which is another way of being inclusive. So we've already started getting submissions and they're looking really nice. So I'm excited. All right, thank you. Okay, so it's thank you times. I will do this again at the end of the conference. But I want to thank our speakers who have worked diligently and with a lot of care to prepare the talks for you, and the volunteers and the organizers. Volunteers are with purple lanyards. If you see a volunteer, thank them, because we would not be able to actually communicate with anybody if we didn't have a small army of volunteers to help us. So most of the organizing team has been working up until now, but by now we've done a lot of work, and then the volunteers are kind of helping to execute that. So thank a volunteer if you see them. And we have very supportive sponsors, organizations that believe in our cause and want to help us make better events for our community. And the last thing and the best is all of you, because if you were not here, this would be a very quiet conference. I mean, I've had gigs where there were more people on the stage than in the audience, but this is definitely not one of them. So thank you so much for being a part of this community. You know, if you've been here for the first time or the 5th time, you know, it's always amazing to see how our community grows over the years, you know, and we are here for you. You know, this is your conference. This is your community. So our sponsors, we got a few sponsors. We have some media sponsors. You will probably see some swag on the tables. People will be kind of floating around. Some of the sponsors have job fair tables. So these are companies that support and believe in our philosophy. And we're very grateful to have them support our events so that we can make events in amazing places like this and take you all on a boat. So we do this kind of every time we kind of give a bit of a snapshot of where the community is. And every time we fix the numbers, it's like, really? Really? We've grown by that much since... So the last time we did this snapshot was in May. So that's only a few months ago in Portland, and we've already had to up quite a few numbers. So we are a global community. The community is centered around our events, and that's basically how it started. But now we have an ongoing online community as well. So it started with a Portland conference and then grew into Europe, and then we started getting a bunch of local meetups where people meet every month or every few months. So we have, this year we've had the conference in Portland, which was the 6th time. Prague, and the 2nd iteration of the Australia conference in Melbourne is happening in November, and we just finished a conference in Cincinnati, first time in collaboration with Open Help, which is an open source based help writing days basically. So we had 3 writing days and 2 days of a conference, and it was a really interesting experiment. So we have a Slack. We have 4,500 members on Slack. When we were in May, it was 3,600 or something like that. It was just every time we get more people into the Slack. We have a monthly newsletter that we send out, which is mostly things that we collect from the Slack discussions, so interesting topics, community updates, and then we send it out. We got podcasts. Who's doing the podcast? Who's on podcast? You're on a podcast, yeah. So Chris is one of our podcast magicians, because I don't know how that works. It's magic. Okay, and then we also have over the years, people have met different people in our events and have started different events that are run by the community. So what I was talking about now, the conferences, the meetups, this is official kind of Write the Docs events. We also have community run events like API the Docs. Who is API the Docs here? Where are they? Oh, he's Christoph. Hey, what's up? We have Test the Docs. Sven's right up there. You know, we had the London one day. Is Jen here? No. Hi, Jen. She's watching the live stream. This is great. We have meetups on 4 continents. Please stand up if you're a meetup organizer. Somewhere. They're all in the back. They're already standing. So yes, I would like to see more meetups in Europe. So there usually is a meetup Unconference session at some point during the days. So if you want to find a meetup organizer, you can find them. So looking into the future, this year we launched a job board. I know I have 2 minutes. We launch a job board, which is, we have the jobs channel on Slack, which is a little bit more casual, but we wanted to give a better space for documentarians looking for jobs and companies who are looking basically for our people, right? And so we launched that, and Kelly was imperative, here's Kelly, in making that happen. We also are looking at what we're going to do in the future, in the near future. I don't know, I haven't had a 5-year plan in a very long time. but sustainability is always something that we're looking at, because we have a very small part-time paid community staff, basically, the team, and we're basically trying to make the events work and, you know, over time, and trying to develop new things for the community. But we try to be self-sustaining, and we try to have kind of longevity in our community. So we also see a lot of new events coming up. So one of the things that's on our minds is how to make onboarding new conferences and one-day events or something like that in a more structured way, in a more supportive way. So this is kind of what we have in mind. And another thing that we're always trying to keep in mind is a cross-role community that we want to build here. So this is not a bubble for technical writers necessarily. You know, we want to open up the communication to developers, UX designers, librarians, you know, developer relations, marketing folks, you know, scientists. All of those people have something to do with content and communication. I'm at the time. So raise your hand if you're primarily a technical writer or write for a living. Okay, so most of us, yes, okay. So your job is to maybe meet someone who's not and have a chat with them and see what they're like. So we try to encourage that. We do some outreach in developer events as well to try and bring a more holistic community. Okay. So how do we stay in touch? We have a Slack. We please encourage you to use the Twitter hashtag if you want to coordinate things or ask questions. All of our online spaces are under the Code of Conduct umbrella. So I think I posted yesterday a reminder of the Slack guidelines and stuff like that. So we encourage you to keep that in mind. So Twitter, Slack, and thank you. We hope you have a great conference. And now we're going to take a short break to swap up the speakers. And in about 9 minutes, we're going to have the first talk of the conference. So enjoy.